And just like that, the greatest season in the history of Auburn basketball comes to an end.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. It's a special live edition of the show as Auburn's the greatest season in Auburn basketball history comes to an end. Too early, in my opinion. Kyle Rush of the Barn, Darrell, Dapprich, Montgomery radio legend, joining us live from San Antonio in a game where we all discussed like Janai Broome was going to get his and he got his early. You needed the guards to step up and nobody really took it, guys. Nobody really took it offensively other than Chad Baker-Mazara. And you needed Miles, you needed Tahad, you needed Denver, you need one of the true guards to step up. And the shots didn't fall.
Yeah, and it's kind of been the story ever since the first tournament game, really. Three-pointers have been a strength all season. I think for the most part, for the season, you shot above 38% from three as a team, and you just could not hit shots in the tournament. And I think that's ultimately you're able to score in the paint. We were really dominant in the paint early, but bad shooting games, let me say, from Miles Kelly, Denver Jones, Tahad Pettiford, and that is not a recipe for success against a team that can score like Florida.
Yeah, you were there. What did you see?
Well, first of all, Florida is very, very physical. They did what I thought they were going to do, and I think we talked about guard play, and obviously you guys just nailed it. There's no point in repeating it. Auburn didn't have any of its guards show up, but I also think in the second half, and I'm not blaming him. I think the physicality of the Florida bigs and watching it up close and person took its toll on Broome. And he was nowhere near what he needed to be in the second half. National Player of the Year needs to, 15 in the first half, it was great. Second half, missed some key free throws. I just think he was wore down. I think he was playing with one arm. And I think the physicality, Florida kept running bigs at him and really pounding on him. Not only when he was shooting, in the lane too, they were beating on him. And then Clayton, I mean, what can you say? The guy is the best player. He's the best guard in the SEC. He's one of the best guards in the country. He had his shining moment, his big game. And, because of that, Florida advances. I mean, even when Auburn was up 8 at halftime, I felt nowhere near comfortable because Florida's got a run in them. It's how they live. It's what they do. And Auburn wasn't doing anything to stop Clayton. And I think before we hit record, Kyle, you made a good point. You can live with the threes that he were hitting that was insane. Step backs, hand in the face, fadeaways, contested, but he was getting to the rim too easy. That needed to be stopped.
He was, and I did a few, we talked about it on the show, but I put up some social media stuff earlier today too, saying like the guard situation. I think Auburn's going to score enough to win. That wasn't my concern. My concern was, are you going to do stuff differently than you did in the first time they met, where Clayton went off and then, they didn't have Elijah Martin. He was exceptional tonight as well. But Auburn defensively at the perimeter, they weren't great against Florida in the first matchup. And it was the same tonight. I think Bruce got out-coached. I mean, Clayton's exceptional. Don't get me wrong. But your guards are too good defensively for you to allow that to happen to you on this stage, in my opinion. And when a lot of the storylines all week were like, Bruce gave Golden a chance and, he's like a mentor, a father figure to him. And then for him to like let him out coach you, like that, I think that sucks. I think that's super, super unfortunate.
Yeah, there was a possession late in the game, and I'm not going to go as far to say it. I don't want to go into the whole did Bruce get or not get out coached. I mean, they're really good. They're a really freaking good team.
They lost,
but like there was a possession late in the game where Dylan Cardwell, they had gotten switched where Dylan was on Clayton at the top of the key, and like at some point in time, there has to be some communication to get it back to where you have somebody that can actually guard him that far. and it never happened. And then he drove to the hole on Dillon, and Dillon's a fantastic defender, but he's not fast enough. He's not quick enough to be able to go down the lane with Clayton like that. And he finished, and And it was, I think that was a crucial bucket there late too, where you really needed to stop.
Yeah. Darrell, what was the vibe on, I mean, there were several opportunities down the stretch for Auburn to get back in it. What was the vibe in San Antonio with a few of those questionable reviews? And like, we may have had a better vantage point watching the TV broadcast than what you guys had, but like, what was the feel around that? And there were a few. I mean, some of them were, Janai picking up the charge, or, did that ball hit, the shorts of the Florida player? Like, what was the overall vibe in San Antonio down the stretch?
Well, it got addressed, but it got swept away quickly because it went on to the next play, and all they do is show it once or twice on the big board. It's hard to tell when you look at it once on the overhead video board. You guys were having an opportunity to see it probably over and over. I do think that there was a level of frustration watching it in person, seeing how physical they were with Janai and pushing people out of the lane. And of course, Auburn allowed themselves to get pushed out of the lane. At some point, you kind of got to man up a little bit and be tough and physical, and not get pushed around. I think there were two things. I think when Auburn was up 9 and had a steal early in the second half and had an opportunity to go up 11, and everything was going their way, all the momentum, and Miles Kelly hit the shot clock on a layup. I'm just being that literally Florida hit 3 consecutive threes to take a 1-point lead. That was a turning point. And then another spot down the stretch, even after Florida made that run, with about 5 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go, Auburn gets a stop on defense. They're down 1. They get a fast break transition, wide open 3. It gets missed. Auburn could not hit the shot that would put them over the hump, or the big shot late. And despite getting out rebounded, despite Florida hitting more threes, despite Florida going to the line more than Auburn and hitting more free throws at a better percentage, Auburn was still in this thing late with about 2 minutes to go, but they couldn't make shots. They couldn't make the tide-changing shot, and ultimately that cost them.
Yeah, that wide open, that fast break, I just knew that Miles was going to hit that shot. I just knew, like, it's time for him to hit a shot, and it was wide open. It was very similar to when Auburn played, who was it, Tennessee in 2019. It was very similar to that 3, but obviously we had a big lead then. But you just felt like that was the perfect. Miles needs like an extra half second to get set to hit a shot. He's not a quick release guy. That was it. That was the one. And when it left his hands, I was like, that's fine. It's going to go in. There's no doubt it's going to go in. And it's just a story of his tournament, basically. He just could not get a shot to fall. And that was, to me, that's the biggest story. Auburn's guards could not get shots to fall when you had to have them, and Florida's did.
Yeah, and that's something that when we saw Auburn peaking at the start of the season, Janai was doing his thing, but different guys were stepping up. And whether it was Tahad against Houston or Miles against Tennessee, Denver obviously had his moments. They just didn't fall. And like some of the role players, like on offense, didn't do as much as they probably should either. I mean, Denver got to double digits, but like 3 of 9, like Denver had to be better than that tonight, especially when you're going to allow the opposing guard to score 37 points. It's ridiculous. That's insane to me. Janai wasn't efficient either. Like, he started out red hot, but he ended up 6 of 14. Like, that's not great. Like, Janai is capable of way better than that. Clearly hurt. Clearly, like, not 100%. But Auburn just needed guys to step up, and the only player that was like somewhat productive from an efficiency standpoint was Chad, who's also banged up. But Chad Baker-Mazara tonight, like, we've all made our jokes about him throughout the season. Like, he was a warrior tonight.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. He hit big threes, not even really off of like set plays, kind of like broken down, not a lot of movement. Putting him up there with a torn ligament in his shooting hand. His hand looked like he was in archery. Like he had one of those archery things on his wrist. And he was just making it happen. I just wish that he could give an ounce of that to Tahad, or to, I don't even want to say Tahad, as he's played good all tournament. He just had a bad game. But like Denver, I said earlier in the week, I felt like this game would go as Denver goes, and he didn't go. He didn't look good on either side of the ball. Had a couple of lazy fouls early, a little bit uncharacteristic on defense out of him. It's just when you had to have your guards, you had to have your guards. You just had to have them perform. They didn't show up tonight.
I want to say this for the kid that got so much grief in the offseason because of getting kicked out of the Yale game. I'm really, really happy for the way Chad Baker-Mazara not only played in this tournament, but played in the biggest game in this tournament and really kept his composure, kept his cool, and stepped up and played huge for Auburn in their last game, in a Final Four game. So I'm glad that storyline and that narrative will go away. Second thing, can we put to bed the Todd Golden, Bruce Pearl love fest? I'm tired of that crap, to be honest with you. It's enough. It's played out. Todd Golden doesn't. I mean, that's great if you're having a barbecue in July, but the fact that they interviewed them side by side before the game pissed me off. There was too much narrative out here about how much in love they were with each other. For that 40 minutes, you're not friendly with him. You don't talk to him. You're trying to beat him. That's how Golden acted. Trust me. That's how he acted. There was too much of a love fest and a warm and fuzzy. Plenty of time in the offseason for that. You're in the Final Four. Don't interview them together side by side before the tip. I thought
there was I think it was 2 seasons ago when Florida came to Auburn and they ate at the Pearl's house the night before.
I hate that.
Wild.
See, I'm old school. I mean, during the season, after the season, great. We'll go to the beach together. We'll grill out steaks and ribs. But when it's basketball season, don't step foot on my property. I don't even want to see you 100 yards away.
And it's asked for, too. It'd be different if it was just, obviously Auburn fans and Florida fans know that story because they're in it. But a lot of the NCAA tournament storytelling isn't for the local fans. It's for the other, 95% of sports fans that are watching the moment. So I get that aspect of it, but it was they put it out too. So I agree with you. I 100% agree with that. All right, let's let's jump into more of this game. What went wrong? Did it concern long-term? Darrell, do you need to step away? Are you good? You good for a few more minutes?
Yeah, I'm good for a few more minutes, and then I'm going to try to catch the post-game press.
All right, so more coming up in just a second right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Fabric. Life moves fast, especially when you have a family. One day you're watching your kids take their first steps, and before you know it, you have 3 children, and they're all running around, and your life is crazy. Fabric by Gerber Life makes it simple to get term life insurance that fits your family's needs. You can do it super quick. You can do it in 10 minutes from the comfort of your couch. It gives you peace of mind. It's affordable. It's great. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their families. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/lockedoncollege. That's meetfabric.com/lockedoncollege. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company. Not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends at 5 Hour Energy. Whether you're staying up, watching the second game tonight, or squeezing in a round of golf after work, 5 Hour Energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. You can head to 5hourenergy.com. It's number 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, or Kyle's favorite grape. You can build your own 12-pack or 24-pack and get it delivered right to your door. Or if you need one now, you can head to your local convenience store, grocery store. They got them there. Shout out 5hourenergy.com.
Guys,
yes.
I gotta tell you what just happened where you're doing a commercial. This is classic. This is such a thing happened today. I didn't realize, and I'm doing this show right near the Florida Gator locker room. Oh. And the whole Florida team literally just went in a golf cart by me 5 feet away, and Clayton just Gator chomped.
How about that?
He saw my Auburn Daily, I guess, looked at me and Gator chomped me. So, yeah, that was nice.
Keeps winning.
I mean, what are you going to tell him? What are you going to do about it?
Nothing. I'm doing the show. I just focused in on your ads.
I think he can do whatever he wants. I mean, what can Auburn say? What can Auburn say
Yep.
about him?
Just
To me,
just
and it's
kinda
always
funny
so
that
tricky when you talk about it, and this is for any sport. Like when you talk about, because I want to give him credit. What he did tonight was incredible. What he's done all season down the stretch when Florida's been hot, it's been incredible. But it's still this balance of like, there's no reason that should have happened. Darrell,
That's so easy to say.
But like Darrell, I was texting you throughout, like, why was Denver not on him more? Like that didn't make any sense to me. And that's the same matchup that, like, a lot of it was Chad Baker Mazzara in the first matchup. And all week, I'm like, they're going to change that. They've got to change it. And they really didn't. They really didn't do that much different. It didn't look like. And to me, it's just.
Well, I will say something.
Yeah,
I saw it firsthand. Florida is as good as anybody I've seen live on off the ball screens and running their set and motion and movement with the ball. There were times that Auburn couldn't get to him because you've got 3 6'10", 6'11", 7-footers setting high screens, and they were trying to fight through them. But I'm telling you, even when they closed on him, he was falling back, shooting threes. Now, like I said, when he drove to the basket, there were some defensive lapses there, but they screen as good as anybody I've ever seen live, and they do it because they have so many bigs that are effective.
I mean, look, you can guard him as good as you want. Okay. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, you can't go 7 of 25 from 3. You can't take 25 threes and not hit over 30% of them. Like, there were multiple possessions where Clayton couldn't even touch the ball. Like, we were trying, from what I could see, they were doing literally everything they could to limit him, not even just having a tough shot, like not even getting the ball on a possession. There were multiple possessions when Auburn would kind of make a little bit of a run or cut into the lead or extend the lead where he would go multiple possessions without even getting the ball. I mean, my God, some of the shots this guy was making were incredible, and he did it against Texas Tech. Like, he's the best player in this tournament, and he might be the best player in college basketball. Like, what he's done has been absolutely incredible. And I would love to say it's so simple, just don't let him score. Like, that seems easy, but like, geez, this dude is incredible, and he's gonna be that, and he's gonna get his.
But if you're Bruce Pearl and you're saying publicly at pressers that Denver Jones is the best defensive guard in the country, I don't think you used him right.
He didn't play well, and even when he did play, he would make he got stupid fouls and got into foul trouble early. I mean, he just did not have his best game.
And this is just going to be a disagreement, which is totally fine. If you would have told me Auburn scored 73 points tonight, which is what they did, I would have said we would have won because I trusted our defense, and our defense just didn't show up.
I would have said we would have got beat by 6. I'm just being honest because Florida
80 points minimum.
Yes, I thought
Auburn's
we were going to have to score 8.
Just been killing it this tournament.
But their offense is not good.
And Florida's a different animal offensively than anybody they face. I know they struggled some against Texas Tech, and Connecticut, but when they wanted to flip the switch, I think you guys nailed it. When you have the player that's playing the best in the tournament and is the best player in the tournament, that's typically who. And I don't looking at everything now, and I'm about to watch Cooper Flagg in person and see. I wouldn't have had a problem with Janai Broome losing the National Player of the Year to Clayton the way he's played. And so guards win this tournament, and when guards get hot, and here's the other thing. We can't blame kids for having bad games, especially when they get you to this certain point. But if Tahad Pettiford is going to struggle offensively, he's a liability for you because he can't do anything defensive. And so that's the difference. I mean, you've got to at least give something. But when he's struggling offensively, he's going to give you no help defensively at all.
Yeah, y'all care about the criticisms of like when Pearl called timeouts and stuff?
Some of those I'm with you on that. Like I don't know why. Like to start out the second half, like after you turn it over and they score like a couple of quick possessions, like, hey, call one. Like, I don't know. I can't really remember many timeouts on it, quite frankly. I remember TV timeouts. I remember being thankful that we got a foul at a certain point in time in the middle of a run and it went to a TV break. That's probably the only gripe I really have. Like, for whatever reason, we just don't do that, like, ever.
He did call one that I give him a lot of credit for. It was tied 33-all. He called a timeout, ran a set out of it. Tahad got fouled behind the three-point line, hit all 3 free throws. But wouldn't you know it, there was a TV timeout right after it. so you had he called a timeout, and then there was a timeout 5 seconds later. And I'm like, he finally calls one, and he had one in his back pocket 6 seconds later. That has been a criticism of him his whole career at Auburn, is he just lets them play through it and doesn't call timeouts.
Yeah. And it's frustrating at times. I don't know how much of a difference it could have made in this game or any of the losses this year, but I know there's possessions. Possessions are important in a game like this, and you just explained one that it helped on that particular possession. I don't know. There's times where we hold on to them, and I know that's just Bruce, but there's some times we hold some when I'm like, man.
Yeah, and Bruce isn't this awful game day coach like people are talking about him right now. Like, he's just not. You don't get to multiple Final Fours and not be an exceptional coach. It wasn't
What was the free throw? What was the free throw total? I left looking at it before the game was over.
It wasn't quite as bad. 30 to 23.
Yeah, that's it.
And what was Auburn's percentage?
Auburn was 7. They were both 70%.
Florida was 70% too.
Yeah, believe it or not.
21 to 30. Auburn was 16 to 23.
Yeah, they must have missed some late. Well, guys, I'm going to hop into the presser. I know Florida's probably wrapping up theirs, and I need to get some stuff together.
Yeah, go ahead. If you can find, Darrell will drop all of the nuggets from the postgame presser over at thebarnauburn.com. So go sign up there today, thebarnauburn.com. Thank you so much. Dap, me and Kyle will hang out here for a few more minutes just to recap everything that we just saw. So, we can't do the last reaction show of the season and not take a second and realize that was our last time watching Janai Broome, Dylan Cardwell, Miles Kelly, Denver Jones, Chris Moore, Chaney, and an Auburn jersey. And that sucks.
Dude. Yeah, and you would have loved for everybody you just named to have gone out a whole lot better, at least gone down swinging where you can't at least look at yourself and at least where you can look at yourself and say, I don't want to say I gave it all, but I played as good as I possibly could play. I know all of them will feel like they left a little bit of meat on the bone. And, man, what a season those guys have had and what a impact they've all, made on this program. This was a spectacular season, a special season. And those names you just mentioned, other than Janai, you just wish, they could have, if it's a 1-point game or you miss on a last shot or something like that, I feel like you can live with that, but you just feel like you just, there and you just couldn't make it happen.
Throughout the week, I felt like one of the teams in the last 2 minutes was going to pull away. I was hoping it'd be Auburn, and in all my predictions, I picked Auburn to win. But Florida did what they did against UConn, what they did against Tech, where it was either close or they were behind, and then Florida storms back.
Second half team.
I thought either Florida would do that again or Auburn would be able to withstand it. And, can Florida do that against, 3 games in a row or whatever? Turns out they absolutely can. And then, Auburn looked gassed. Some people are saying it was effort. I don't know if it was effort. I think they just ran out of gas and Florida was the deeper team. But so those last few minutes, like that, I hope that's not how these guys are remembered.
No, surely they won't
I hope
be.
Not.
I see some stuff in the comments that I'm sure it's just emotional. Like we're just emotionally saying things, but they were incredible. They were incredible. Miles, my God, man, he was unbelievable all year. Even tonight, he still had 4 big rebounds, and he's a guard. You know what I mean? Like he gets in there, and he had some really good possessions guarding Walter Clayton, but for whatever reason, man, the shot just couldn't fall the last 4 games, and he obviously was great for Auburn. Denver Jones, I always felt like if Auburn would go as Denver went, and he just obviously struggled tonight. 1 of 5 from 3. He's not going to get it.
He made that 3 in the second half, and I'm like, if they're going to do it, this is going to spark it.
Well, the guy I was watching with, I was like, man, and I think he actually said this: if one falls, this is going to be big for Auburn, and the one fell. And then it just, I don't know. We just still couldn't mount anything respectable, I guess, to really make a charge and cut them off at the end.
Right. And then, I mean, I don't want to be too critical of him, but like Tahad tonight, I really thought he was going to be it. I mean, I made the claim a few times where Tahad Pettiford will do something historically impactful for Auburn basketball in this game, and I was wrong. 1 of 6, and some really lazy passes too in the second half, where it's like, what are we doing?
3 turnovers,
let's have some urgency. I mean, he had a bad half, Kyle, on both sides of the floor.
Yeah, I mean, 1 of 6 from 1 of 6 shooting in general. Hit all his free throws, but still, I'm with you. It's just that burst, that step back fadeaway. That 3-point drop step. Nothing was falling, and he's had such a remarkable tournament. I mean, 16 points, 23. We'll never forget the Michigan game.
No.
I mean, he only had 10 points against Michigan State, but he had some electric shots in that game as well, some finishes at the rim, and none of that was there today. None of that was there. And then, like at the end of the game, I totally forgot about this. At the end of the game, you're down by 6. I think you're down by 6.
Yeah.
There's 40 seconds left, and then Tahad has a breakaway to the goal, and he's left-handed too, and it's on his left side, and it's in his left hand. If he goes up with his left hand, he draws the foul and more than likely makes the layup, but he goes for the dunk. He goes for the slam, gets fouled. He makes his free throws, but that was a 3-point play. That was an easy 3-point play, and we did that multiple times tonight.
Went for the dunk.
Went for the dunk versus the easy points. And I don't want to say it cost us, but like sometimes that kind of mindset costs us at times. I think that mindset trying to make a highlight reel versus just scoring.
Yeah, Dylan had one, Chaney had one, Janai probably had one, but that specific moment with Tahad though, when you're down 6 and there was like 30-ish seconds left, it may have actually been 28 seconds. I don't know why that number's sticking in my head, but my question is like, why are you going for 2 there? Like being down 4 with like 20 seconds left in the game didn't help you in that situation. But I don't know. Maybe he was just trying to make a play.
Yeah, trying to make a play. But yeah, this was just not the game you needed to hide to have a bad game. But hey, he's a freshman and he's been electric all year. He's won us some big games. It's just
you needed one of them to step up.
Needed one of them,
and they didn't do it. Once again, hats off to, Janai and Chad, they played injured and I think they were warriors tonight. Janai, there were moments where he was calling for the ball and there would be like stretches where like they didn't get him a touch in the possession. And I just got a feeling, Darrell's in the press conference with Bruce right now, or about to be. And like, I'd be shocked if Bruce didn't bring that up and say like, I regret that. I'd be shocked if he didn't say that.
There are times in a game where we will go stretches to where it looks like the movement completely shuts down. Like the ball movement, the moving without the ball movement, it just completely shuts down. And then we get into that. We don't really like, how many shot clock violations do we have tonight late in the game where we couldn't get a set going, and it was on the side of the court where we are. It was on our side of the court where we're calling
and that's
plays.
the stuff where I'm like to me, that's on Pearl. I think in that situation, like you got to call something. You got to. And there are just stretches where like, even if you called something, it's like, was there a plan? Like, was there a plan in place? Or are you just calling the occasional plays? I don't know. I'm sure Bruce is going to think about this one a ton. This is just a bummer, an absolute bummer when it comes down to it. There's no other way to put it. And once again, just to stress, like the fact that we're never going to see Janai or Dylan in an Auburn uniform again. And those last 5 minutes is like how their career here ended. Stinks. Great that it happened in the Final Four. That's super cool. But this team's goal was never like, they never set our goals to make it to the Final Four. They all said that their goal is to win a national championship at Auburn. And I hate that they didn't get it. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Only 27 points in the second half, I think, if I did my math right. Yeah, 27 points. That's just not going to get it done.
Not enough
against this team.
It's not enough. You're right. You're right. Especially with Clayton was incredible. And then Elijah Martin. And now to talk, like, Elijah Martin didn't play in their first game, and I didn't think that'd be a factor. And his dunk over like our whole team. Like, if Florida doesn't put that everywhere, like, I don't know what they're doing. Like, what an incredible moment for them.
Man, he had two pretty big highlight reels that you show to recruits, I think, in the Final Four highlight dunks. One was on one of those lazy passes that you're talking about, and then obviously the one where he dunked over three of our guys.
And it's like if you take away two of those lazy passes that Tahad made in the second half, it's like, all right, it could be a totally different game. It's just when it's close and you don't want to rebound and you want to turn it over, that's what happens. Devastating stuff. Devastating stuff. So, Kyle, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
Absolutely. Go to thebarnauburn.com, subscribe, save $25 off your annual membership, and then go to the Barn Auburn YouTube page. We'll have a reaction show in the morning, and we'll go live tomorrow night and discuss the season as a whole. All kind of stuff this coming week. That's where you can find me.
Yep. And to everybody who's tuned into all of these throughout the season, there's been a lot of them. And they've all been really, really fun. This is one of the few that has not been fun. But thank you guys so much. I mean, several of these cracked, several thousand views live, and it's just been cool to see it. I hate that we're going out this way, but thank you guys for supporting our Auburn basketball coverage. Not only this season, but the last 3 or 4 seasons. It's been great. So please like the video. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.